Welcome back to The Last Safe Space. This is MBT's brand new podcast. We're a straight talking, no nonsense, data driven podcast where we're talking about the grassroots ecosystem and mostly about grassroots venues. And I'm joined today by my lovely colleagues, Stina and Aled. And we're going to be heading into the nations to work out what's been happening, what the latest trends are, what the crisis cases look like, and some exciting upcoming events. So I thought maybe we could just start by, maybe you could introduce yourselves and explain a little bit about your roles and what they entail, if that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm Stina. I'm Scotland coordinator, which means that I deal with everybody in Scotland and all our lovely venues up there. I'm their first point of call. And yeah, the representative for Music Venue Trust in Scotland.
Beautiful. Aled?
Hello, yeah, I'm Aled. I'm the Wales coordinator. So similarly, I work in the venue support team with my English colleagues and Stina, and then I'm the first port of call for Welsh venues ultimately.
You made that very nice and succinct and short. Thanks, guys. So if we just are talking about the current trends in Scotland and Wales and some upcoming events and how the venue support team works specifically in those two nations, we're just going to start with Scotland. So Stina, Scotland's grassroots scene has been really lively lately, both in challenges and opportunities. You've been working flat out with venues across the country, and you've also been invited to quite a few exciting events, which I thought we could talk about as well in the sector, which is really brilliant recognition of your work and everything that you've been doing up in Scotland. So before we talk about those, could you maybe just give us like a bit of a snapshot of what's been happening in Scotland right now, what kinds of issues venues are bringing to you?
Yeah, I think our main challenge, which maybe is similar in Wales as well, we have a bit of crossover, is transport is such a big issue, especially for Glasgow. It's been a real problem. Just people not being able to access grassroots music venues due to transport issues, not having facilities, not having nighttime buses. There have been some developments on the way, and we have been working with council to work on a Glasgow nighttime vision document. So I'm hoping to we're chipping away slowly at that. But yeah, it's having such a real impact. And obviously in rural areas, it's a real challenge to try and get audiences to venues, to get people out there and to get connected. Yeah, so transport's the main one. I think probably quite individual to Scotland is business rates, which obviously we had an amazing win at the beginning of the year where rates were given a 40% relief for grassroots music venues, which is incredible, and we should be celebrating that. It's helped a lot of venues. Unfortunately, we're seeing a 51k cap on the rateable value, which means that venues that have a rateable value of over £51,000 are not able to access that cap, access that rate relief, sorry. Doesn't matter what size your venue is, so it can be in disparity between 100 capacity venue up to 2,000 capacity venue, and most of these venues are in city centres, which means they're put under pressure that maybe other venues that are getting that 40% cap are seeing a little bit of relief from. So yeah, it's not very fair, and we would like to see that be completely removed. So yeah, we're working towards getting some more fairness in how the rates relief is being divvied out in Scotland.
So rate relief and transport are two of the main things that you're dealing with at the moment. Are there any sort of standout cases that you're sort of supporting at the moment?
So we've got a few noise cases on at the moment, and we're actually
are they normally like in the city, or do you get them out in the rural areas as well?
Yeah, we've got some that are in city centres, and we've actually got a consultation happening that we will be adding comments to, and I think it's really important for venues to know about it and to actually add their own comments, which is the permitted development rights consultation. The deadline is the 27th of October. What it means essentially is that in town centre planning, the consultation will maybe be relaxed a little bit, and things like using buildings for that used to be a shop and changing into residential. That could be offices above a venue. It could be beside a venue that used to be a shop and now permitted to be a dwelling without maybe the stringent hoops that they usually have to jump through. This is a real problem for venues if that gets put through for consultation process. So they won't be able to object formally. Maybe we would, for MBT, it's a lot of our work is objecting and advocating for venues in the planning portal.
Well, you've got a brilliant success rate with that as well, haven't you?
In Scotland, we have 100% success rate for last
amazing.
year. Well, we hope to keep it like that. So, I think that in this case, it's not that we don't support town living. We do. And I think that is really important, that it has to be consultation throughout the entire process with venues, with council, with developers, to make sure that not only that the venue is protected and given a fair say about what's happening, but also for the residents that are going to move in. We want to create a great ecosystem for people to live. And venues shouldn't have to burden that. Obviously, we have agent of change that is in law in Scotland, and it needs to be upheld and it needs to be done correctly. So, so the consultation ends on the 27th of October, like I said, but we're running a drop-in for venues on the 21st of October at 11 a.m. With our planning guru. So
there you go.
Come
get
along.
Get that in your diaries.
And you can write your own comments and make sure that your voice is heard. So if you're a venue that wants to come, well, an MVA member that wants to come to that, then you can. And I think strength in numbers is going to be really important for this one.
Amazing. Thank you. And just lastly, on a sort of more positive note to round up the sort of Scottish segment, you've got 3 really exciting events coming up, haven't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing and representing MVT at those events?
Yeah, I'm going to be out and about. So I'm going to be at the Say Award on the 6th of November, which is in Dundee. And Sophie, our venue support team manager, will also be around. We're going to Resonate, which is the 13th of November, to contribute to a panel. And also the SAMAs on the 29th of November, where I'm a nominator for the live act, best live act. So very exciting November choco for me. Get out and about there. So come and say hello.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it's so good to see Scotland having such a good representation in you. And, it's obviously down to all the amazing relationships and conversations that you're having out there. So moving on to Aled in Wales. You've also had a busy few months, and you're, going to be running Ethical Venues workshop at a festival soon, which we'll come to in a minute. And but first, what's the current picture like in Wales? What's been happening lately for you?
I mean, it's very similar to Scotland, as Stina says, and the, the English sort of picture. Really, a lot of venues struggling financially. Business rate has been an issue. We saw the reduction in rate relief a couple of years ago, so we're sort of a year ahead of the England situation. So that's an argument that we've been making for the last couple of years, really, and that we still continue to make and hope to make some changes, or encourage changes. Public transport, obviously, as well, is similar to Stina. As Stina says, is a big issue with a lot of the venues. I mean, rural.
Is that outside of the
No, I think
cities,
it affects all of the venues, really. Yeah, it's been an issue in Swansea, and we actually saw a change in the train times in Swansea, where they went from 9:30 as the latest train to 11:30, which made a big difference.
Well, it means you can see the headliner, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and it means the venues don't have to program around sort of that. And the important thing to say is that it affects the staff as well as the customers. So it makes it difficult to make sure that your staff get home safely, and if it's a late night sort of thing. So yeah, there's lots of issues around that, and that's something that we actually took a venue survey of our members 6 months ago or whatever it was, and that's now the stats from that are feeding into we're sort of in the process of putting a manifesto together for MVT, Wales and Scotland have got their elections next year. I think the Senate is the 7th of May. So we're sort of busy putting all of our ideas and asks together for that. And public transport's certainly one of the ones that's high on our agenda, as well as agent of change and business rates as well. All the inevitable things that we've been campaigning for ages. So. It's a busy time.
So very similar then, yeah. It's interesting.
It's
interesting how because obviously nations are quite far apart, really, to see how, how similar the situation is.
No, without a doubt. Yeah, we work together quite closely on those sorts of things, so it's nice to feed into each other.
And have you also seen any sort of similar trends in crisis cases in Wales as well?
I mean, inevitably, PRS, PPL, we get, we've had some noise complaint issues, and we've had planning application, representations that we put in, and, those sorts of, the normal things. I think I said that, financially, it's been, it continues to be a tough landscape. So I think, in terms of themes, my overarching sort of, problem with venues, or problems that venues are coming to us with is very much sort of financial, really. And business rates doesn't help. I think trends in terms of spend per head for venues as well has been that sort of downward trend has been a problem. So I guess that's the sort of the picture of it.
Thank you, Aled. And can you tell us a bit about the Ethical Venues workshop that you're going to be running at soon as well? Maybe you could explain what the aims of that workshop is. What did I pronounce that right? It's soon, isn't it?
It is soon.
Okay,
yeah, no,
good.
sorry, it was just
checking.
I'm soon going to soon. Yeah, absolutely.
You smiled at me, and I was like, I got insecure about my pronunciation.
No, I mean, I'm not a Welsh speaker, sadly, so I would never pick up anybody on that. So, but no, I mean, it's really exciting. Ethical Venues. Sort of project that we've had what's the word? Some 10 venues I think go through it as a pilot, and now we've sort of launched it to the wider membership. The workshop, obviously, inevitably, because it's us that's delivering it, is focused on venues, but it's actually sort of targeted to the wider sort of ecosystem. So artists, managers, agents are welcome to come along as well, and take what they can from it. And it's essentially about sort of helping and providing tools for venues or industry professionals to be able to articulate their values. It's not about us sort of creating more work or expecting venues to do specific things. It's actually the understanding that venue operators already think in that way and already sort of do these things. It's more about having an accessibility statement or an inclusion statement, a sustainability statement, and being able to articulate it to their customers, to potential funding partners, or whoever it is, so that people understand what those venues are about. As I say, inevitably that our sector and venue operators, they already feel like that, and they already are doing really, really great work. It's just about helping them and think about it and articulate it. Really, that's what the workshop's about.
It sounds like it's such a good workshop. I mean, I think just helping venues be able to share their values is going to be so helpful, even just from a funding perspective.
Sure.
If they want to put in any funding applications, they will be able to say how they are supporting their community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, listening to you both, it's clear that while Scotland and Wales each have their own challenges going on, there's so much shared groundwork there. Funding gaps, planning pressure, and the need for local authority understanding. What do you think are the most powerful forms of support for venues right now?
I think we've got a unique situation in Scotland where funding is a bit of a challenge, and Creative Scotland doesn't really have an avenue like England does to support grassroots music venues. I think that would be a unique challenge for us, where there's maybe a bit more avenue for funding in Wales.
Yeah, we have Creative Wales who, supports our venues. They just announced, I think, 21 recipients of their sort of capital fund. I mean, not all of them were GMVs, not all of them were our members, but they're trying their best. Certainly, yeah, it's nice to see some venues getting some money. I think yeah, if I can talk about soon, and it's a little bit anathema for me. I'm from North Wales, so I very much try not to concentrate on Cardiff. But actually, I'm going down to soon. Tomorrow, I'm going down to soon. But we're doing the workshop at Soon Festival, and it's probably an appropriate sort of time to flag up Cardiff and the music board there. Soon is now sort of part of the umbrella that is Cardiff Music City Festival. It includes Llais and the Welsh Music Prize, and they equally have just announced in a similar way that I'm sure you either have or will be talking to my English colleagues about the Greater Manchester, using funding from the arena to support venues, and Cardiff have done the same or a similar sort of thing where they're using some of the money that they took from the larger events over the summer, and have announced their own sort of grassroots music fund. So venues.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there are. I mean, we talk about, I think, local authorities, and Mark wrote a piece recently about local authorities actually being at the sort of, the coalface or the cutting edge of supporting grassroots music venue, where, governmental changes is sort of slightly more of a long burn. But, Cardiff's actually a really good example of that, and the music board there have done some really good work. Another panel that I'm not on, but, I've sort of helped support is the Fans Voice, I think it's called, a panel at Soon as well. Where Lord, Brendan's coming down and is on it, and he's the panel's chaired by our colleague Sam, and that is ultimately around the fan-led review that the CMS have now launched and is open for, I think, till the end of November for fans to be able to voice their opinions. But that was driven really, it came out of the CMS review, but it was helped to get to this stage by the Music Fans Voice that that was all driven by local authorities, and Cardiff again and the music board there were one of the commissioning partners for that when it was 6 months ago. So they were really involved with that, and I was really proud that their involvement meant that we had a Welsh language translated version of the Music Fans Voice. So that was a really sort of a really nice thing for me to sort of be involved with, but a really sort of proud thing for Cardiff Music Board, I think, to be
Absolutely.
Should be lauded for the all the good work that they do in Cardiff, even though I'm from Wrexham.
Rivalry. Thank you so much, both. It's been amazing having you both on today and learning a little bit about what's going on in Scotland and Wales. Thank you for listening at home. And, if you want to help, some ways that we suggest that you can do that are showing up early and watching the support band. You never know when you're going to, watch your next favourite band. Support your local venue. You can share their posts. You can share our posts. You can buy something at the bar and just tell people why that space matters to you. We also have our own sort of program here called the Supporter Circle, which from £5 a month, every member strengthens the safety net that is fueling the venue support team. We'll include links below about that. And thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. This has been the last safe space. And let's support our local venues and keep the lights on.